Australian firm Imugene is a clinical stage biotech which is developing what it calls novel cancer treatments. Its technologies seek to activate the immune system of cancer patients. Now, Chief Executive Leslie Chong joins me now. Thanks for being there, Leslie. Firstly, can you tell me how your cancer treatment trials are progressing?
Well, all of our products are in cancer patients. They're not preclinical. They're actually gathering data across many of our phase 1 and then phase 1B, especially with Azercell. We recently announced 81% response rate. So it's going quite well.
Yes, you just mentioned the Azercell trial there. And how significant is that response rate?
Well, so the other chimeric antigen receptor formulas that are against blood cancers, CAR Ts, that are approved, got their approval on roughly about 74% overall response rate. And that was roughly around, a little under 100, 100 patients. However, I mean, it's early days, but we're at 81%, and we have risen from 79 to 81. We started off at 57. So it's looking quite promising. Of course, we're going to have to prove that in a pivotal registrational study again, but it looks good.
Tell us about some of your other trial therapies that you're working on.
So we have other products like oncolytic viruses, and then we also just recently announced at a European conference called PD-1 vaccine. It's a cancer vaccine, but because Azercell is actually much more near term to value in that we are at the cusp of starting, going to the FDA to speak to them about the pivotal study. It is very close to what's the next stage, which is, again, the study that you need to market the product. We are very much more focused on Azercell.
And how close, as you say, you have to go through various processes to get the approval. How far do you think Azercell is away from market?
Well, I think within less than 5 years, really. I mean, you have to you want to make good friends with the FDA and make sure that they understand what we're trying to do and they approve certain areas that we're going into. We think that the whole, the naive or CAR T naive patient population and these niche lymphomas or blood cancers is a real opportunity. The FDA really likes unmet need, going after those. And so we think that's a real opportunity. And if we receive approval from the FDA to go into those very rare, but small population, but they tend to give you a single arm design with low number of patients to get approval. So I think this is somewhat of a reality that we can be looking at in 2026, 2027 is when we'll start the activity, because it takes a little bit of a runway for the manufacturing activity, because it could take anywhere between 12 to 18 months to have pivotal ready manufacturing process in place. So we're starting that activity and then simultaneously looking at, various different studies to expedite our clinical trials.
So how do your next generation immunotherapy treatments work?
So what's currently approved is what's called an autologous CAR T, auto CAR T, highly personalized. It uses patients' own T cells. It takes roughly about 4 to 6 weeks for these T cells to be re-engineered and then infused back into the patient. During that wait time of 4 to 6 weeks, patients sometimes progress, or sometimes they cannot regenerate their T cells. Whereas Azercell has proven that as soon as you have failed off of these approved auto CAR T, when they have come on, sometimes at day 28, they are getting complete response, complete clearance of tumors, 2 months, 3 months down the line, their partial response, which is 50% or more of your tumor burden disappearing, they're getting their complete response. So we're looking at 81% response rate. So can you imagine when a patient comes in, they're given something like 81% that your tumors are going to be either shrunk, more than 50%, or have a complete response or no tumor burden at all. So allogeneic, off the shelf, on demand. When a patient comes in, they need the therapy, they can get it right there on the spot. They don't have to wait. And they are seeing results in the data that we're offering patients an opportunity to perhaps live another month. One patient is going on 18 months of complete response. So it is looking like it is working, and we just need to put it in a pivotal study that's going to prove itself. And that's the real differentiation. Ours is off the shelf versus a patient's personalized T cells.
Now, you did a $23 million capital raising earlier this year. What are you using the funds for?
It is all used for clinical trial. Roughly about 70% of our funding are all in our clinical activity, because that's the crux of what we do. Imugene is a biotech company in clinical development, trying to alleviate patients that have cancer. So that's exactly what we do with the money.
Now let's turn to your financials. You did make a net loss for the 2025 financial year, but that narrowed from 2024. So how are you going in terms of financial performance?
So we were able to out-license our manufacturing facility when we took on the acquisition of Azercell. Azercell came with a huge manufacturing process and a facility that we were able to out-license. At one point in Imugene's life, we had around 100 people working for us, and that included the manufacturer. When we were able to out-license that, we were able to reduce headcount by more than 55%. And then in addition to that, we have really highly focused on producing data across Azercell. So shelling off some of our other programs that were not near-term value, and then also reducing headcount that much more. So we're down to in two digits of roughly about anywhere between 15 to 18 people in our facility. So we really have reduced our headcount as well as expenditures on other items like the manufacturing facility, and spending money where we need to spend, which is to collect the data and move Azercell along.
Now, your share price is down for the year and your market value has fallen to around $112 million at 38 cents a share. What's your outlook for the share price?
Look, so I can't ever speak for the share price. It seems like it has a mind of its own. We put out, significant data of 81%, 79% complete responders. And so, my job to me is really put my head down, get the product developed. If I focus on the share price, I'm doing things out of just financial for a short period of time. I'm looking for long term. I'm looking to get this product approved, partnered, collaborated. So I feel that that is the most important thing a biotech company needs to do, is to produce a product, either get partnership, collaboration along the way. But essentially, biotech companies are not here to mess with the financial market, but really to produce medicine for people in need. And I hope that the value will follow.
And what's your outlook for the coming year?
Well, I love what's happening with Azercell. It has met all my expectations and beyond. The fact that patients are able to come in and after some of these patients have seventh lines of therapy, and they're able to receive Azercell and have been living, 5 months down, still ongoing, 18 months. The 47-year-old young lady who probably has family and friends who is now at 18 months after having failing, 3 or 5 prior lines of therapy. I mean, it's sort of wonderful to see that this is happening pretty much on a weekly, monthly basis. So we hope to keep that going. We are speaking with the FDA about how to get this product marketed and fast and expeditiously. So that's coming up at the end of the year. So I'm excited to speak to them about our product. I think they'll too will be excited. We're looking to expand our population into what's called a CAR T naive, which is a very niche area that has no therapies. So we are hopefully filling that spot where these patients have really no hope, and adding Azercell to it so that they can prolong their life and hopefully get some alleviation from their cancer burden and go on to live a healthy life.